Hey, what's up, and welcome to this review video of the Sonic IR pedal from SONICAKE. This pedal is a cabinet simulator with 11 presets that comes as standard, and it also has the ability for you to input your own impulse response files for you to save your own presets. Just to get this disclaimer out of the way, the fine folks at SONICAKE sent me this pedal for me to review, and that's just what we're going to do. Now, straight out of the box, it's small, compact, and will easily fit on any pedal board. Because of its small size, the input and output jacks are offset to accommodate that small size. As well as the output jack for a normal 1/4 inch jack, it also has an XLR output for you to go straight into a mixing desk if that's what you want. Personally, I've never come across a pedal that has that functionality, but it is quite an inspired approach considering the type of pedal it is. The controls on the pedal are quite straightforward. It's just one knob to control which preset you're using, and at the top there is a small control for the level. At the top of the pedal is where you'd put your usual power supply, as the pedal itself cannot fit a 9-volt battery. On the side next to the input of the pedal is where you can find your USB port for you to connect and install your own impulse response files. As well as the pedal itself, SONICAKE provide a little bit of Velcro for you to stick onto the pedal for it to attach to your pedal board. However, the kind of rubber foam bit that they have on the bottom of the pedal doesn't work very well with the adhesive, so I just ripped that off to then put this on. I don't know if that's deliberate, but it now works for me, as the Velcro is now solid on, because I much prefer to use Velcro for my pedals rather than have them all over the place. So that's just my initial kind of thought for that. And finally, the last thing that stands out to me before we've even plugged this pedal in is that there's no on-off switch for it, which means that the pedal is going to be always on, which might be a bit of a barrier, but we'll see as we demo the pedal. To give you an idea of what each preset sounds like, the pedal comes with some information about what each preset is called and the subsequent cabinet that it's based off. With this bit of information, it does help you give some sort of idea as to what each preset is going to sound like. To let you know what the signal chain for the demo is, the cabinet simulator is at the end of my pedal board before going into my audio interface. This does mean that I have a cabinet simulator going into an amp simulator. Might sound a bit weird, but this is how I would use the pedal, and effectively the only way I can use the pedal to my knowledge. Now, with all that preamble out of the way, let's move on to demoing the pedal. My approach for this is going to be using my Fender Tele throughout, using a clean channel, crunch channel, some distortion, and then finally a fuzz to give a fair approximation of the types of sounds any guitarist will be using. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get started. way I've made this video is to be quite open-ended, to use the general sorts of sounds that any guitarist will really use, put through all of the presets that this pedal has to offer. My own personal conclusion for the pedal is that it is quite an interesting pedal. I never really come across anything quite like it, especially something so small with so many sounds built into it. I personally thought it was best for quite dirty and fuzz tones, but partly because that's my preferred type of sound across the board for guitars anyway, but also I thought that it did resonate quite well with those sounds. Preset wise, the ones that I resonated with most were settings 2, 3 and 6. These worked particularly well with distortion and fuzz tones that I really enjoyed using and could get quite a lot of fun out of. A few of the presets, particularly 4 and 5, were ones that I found particularly bright and harsh and didn't really lend themselves that well for rhythm tones, but would work really well for kind of solo sounds where you really want individual notes to really kind of punch through in a mix, which kind of brings into the question, why is there not an on and off switch when you want to really kind of have your sounds kind of boost for particular sections? My main criticism for this pedal is that there's no on and off switch. To have the ability to kind of take your effects in and out of any pedal board is the kind of fundamental basics of a pedal board across the board. If you want it on all the time, then you leave it on all the time, but if someone like me who likes to play around with gear, I have the ability to just simply turn it off whenever I want and turn it back on is quite key. To get around this in my pedal board when I've just been playing on my own and testing it, I've been using my line selector pedal to basically act as an on and off pedal. To use my line selector as an on and off switch basically solves the problem of being able to just bring in that effect whenever I want, but begs the question, why isn't there an on-off switch for this to begin with? As well as the issue of not being able to turn it off and on its own, one thing I did find with the preset control switch is that sometimes when I would switch to a new preset, it wouldn't engage and would stick with the previously selected preset. Then I'd have to go back and then reselect that new preset that I'd want. It's not the biggest issue in the world, especially since it has to be always on. You can't bend over and flick it to a new preset mid-song or whatever. You have to stick with the one that you've got. But in terms of a quality of life, comfort thing and ease of use, it is a bit of an issue with it kind of basically sticking with some presets. I don't know if that's an issue with just this particular one that I have, or if it's an issue with the pedal itself. I would say it's quite minor because of the issue of just having it always on with one preset for one particular song. So overall with the pedal, I think it's a really brilliant design, a great idea, and really well put together. To have such a range of sounds as presets is really quite useful, and to have the ability to put your own impulse response files is even better. So if you're looking for a pedal that's well built, affordable, and can change up the sound of your pedal board, I would strongly recommend the Sonic IR. I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.